Hello, everyone, and welcome inside the Chevron Championship online and in-person media availability center. I am here with Major Champion Georgia Hall. For everyone behind me, there's microphones here for people to step up and ask questions. I'll start it off with a few myself. Georgia, welcome to the season's first major championship here in Texas. What's it like to be preparing for the season's first major?
Yeah, I mean, it's not where we used to be for the first major. It's very different area, very different golf course. It plays very different. So really excited to get going. Obviously, brand new sponsor this year. And the golf course looks in good shape. So really excited to get going on Thursday.
I know that Chevron is doing a lot for the players that are playing this week, some off-the-course stuff as well. What are some of those perks that you've been able to take advantage of?
What are they? I don't know.
Oh, just the way the treatment of the Chevron Championship and just kind of the major feel of it all.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a massive arena and it's just really good. It's really well organised, especially there were so many of us on that flight from Hawaii coming in, for example, and getting our rental cars. We're all just really tired, and they managed to get us through it very quickly. And just like the catering and the way it's all run and set up, it's really well done, and especially for the first time. And I know that the next years are going to get better and better. So I think all the players are very excited and happy to be here.
And you yourself, your play as of late has been mightily impressive. How comfortable are you feeling about your game heading into this year's first major?
Yeah, obviously it gives me a lot of confidence. I've been in contention most of the weeks that I've played in an event, so really comfortable with being in that position. I think that every golf course every week is very different as well, and this one and the greens are especially quite tricky. So I think work a lot on my short game this week, but hopefully I can be in that final group again come Sunday.
All right, we'll open it up, Steve.
Georgia, you mentioned being in contention every week, and I'm not sure we've ever seen this level of consistency out of you where you've been there. Is there one thing in your game that you can point to and say, yes, this is the key that has gotten me here?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't think I have a weakness in my game at all, and I think that's partially why I've been very consistent. I think my mentality is the strongest part of my game, and that's the key to why I play well. But yeah, I think it's just a combination of the last year or two of hard work and stepping it up another level. And now it's just coming all together very nicely, and I'm glad that the hard work's paying off.
And how would you compare, having now seen this golf course, how would you compare it to what we had in the desert, and what do you think the differences are going to be and what it takes to win out here?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit longer than Palm Springs. Palm Springs was a little bit more pristine in the way it looks, but I think I would say this is a better golf course. I think the greens are a little bit harder. The greens are very grainy, which is going to be quite tough, I think, to read the putts. And obviously, I think a great closing hole, very similar to the one we've had previous years. I don't know if anyone's going to jump in that lake, but we'll see.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks.
Speaking of 18, can you take us through the strategy of the hole?
Yeah, obviously I'm a par 5 again, a fairly simple tee shot. And then it depends if they have the tee up or not, whether you can reach. If the tee's where it is at the moment in the standard place, I don't think hardly anyone can reach unless it's downwind. So I imagine at least once or twice they'll put us up a tee or two. And it is kind of a risk reward. It's a tricky second shot coming into the green, but it's still a fairly short par 5 if you want to lay up. So definitely birdieable, even eagle if the tee's moved up. So I think if you're 1 or 2 shots back, you definitely got a chance to still be in it.
When you say it's a better course, what do you mean by that in terms of how it tests?
I think it's just the way it makes you think. You have to think a little bit more around this golf course. You can't really relax on any hole because there's always something about a hole. It's very different, and just mostly on the greens. In Palm Springs, I thought it was quite simple to read the greens, no grain at all. But now we have the grain. I heard it's going to be a little bit windy as well, and a lot of factors come into play.
You mentioned the hard work that you've put in your game to become more consistent this season. Is there any particular drills or work that you did that you can point to as what led to your consistency?
Yeah, I think I've learned a lot about my golf swing over the past couple of years and know what I'm doing when I'm playing well and sticking at that. And I know it's silly, but I didn't really use many drills when I putt. I kind of just would putt around and wouldn't think much. Now I've got, like this great putting mat that I use, and it just allows me to correct my stroke every time I come to a new week, and it makes me have a little bit more confidence with my putting. And new putter this year, which I've had an old putter for maybe 8 years, and I've changed, and I think I've been putting quite well with that so far this year. So I think that's one of the strongest parts of my game so far.
What putter do you have now?
Bettinardi. So it's a bit similar shape to what I previously was using the past 8 years, but I prefer the way it kind of sits. It sits very flush to the green. Sits very it just looks really good when you pull it down, and gives you a little bit more confidence with the stroke.
And when did you find the confidence to realize you can contend week over week with the game you have?
I think, my first event was back in February, I think, came 7th. And then in Asia, I've never played well in Asia. Since I've come out on tour, my best finish was probably 35th, and I came 11th and 14th. So to me, that was a big, wow, okay, I'm playing better than normal. And then obviously the first events in the US, in Arizona and PV, being in contention both times. Also just shooting 7 under and 4 under on the final Sunday gives me a lot of confidence that I can push and shoot a low score to win, not just level 1 under. So I think I've got a lot of low rounds in me, and hopefully they can come out this week.
Go for it.
Yes. A lot of players took last week off. I'm just curious, your how you figure out your schedule in terms of coming into a major, especially coming from Hawaii.
Yeah, not ideal travel to get here, but for me, what I've learned since being on tour is that I need to play in the event before a major. I feel a lot more comfortable just kind of on a roll. A bit more free coming into the major, and that's kind of the reason why. And I like Hawaii, great prize fund as well, great golf course. I enjoy playing in the wind, so for me it was kind of a no-brainer. So that's my main reason.
And then I liked your Instagram post about knocking on the door. How do you balance the confidence taken from being in contention all the time to the disappointment of not getting it done on the final round?
Yeah, I would have loved to have at least one win sitting here right now. But like I said, I shot 7 and 4 under in the final rounds when I come second twice. It wasn't like I was leading and was 2 shots ahead and I kind of choked. So it gives me a lot of confidence. And I know that all the great players come second a lot, right? So I just got to stay patient, and it's only the start of the year. So hopefully a lot more golf to be played and get a couple of wins this year.
Thank you.
I know one last one for me, but just kind of talking about the confidence in your game, the way that you were able to, take advantage of the time in Hawaii. Coming into a major, when's the last time you've been this comfortable in your game going into a major?
Yeah, it's the best factually, I've been playing, right? I'm number 1 on the money list and races CME. So I've never been this comfortable. I think before a major, I've probably felt similar to AIG Women's Open, just because that's where I'm from and I have my own support there, and I feel very comfortable playing that event. So yeah, just a bit of both. But in the US, I think it's definitely the most comfortable that I felt.
All right. If that will do it for all, thank you so much, Georgia, and best of luck.
Thank you.